Thank you for joining us. Let's get on the gram. Stand by. How's everybody doing? It's 11:03. Thank you so much for being here for Lies. And what we're going to do is uncover some of the things that hold us back, that I think can become challenges that we buy into that might reach us, keep us rather, from reaching our goals or being on the path we want to be on. And Vicki and I have uncovered what we think are 8 of them. There's a lot of lies that we buy into, but there's 8 that I want to unpack with you today. And I have no agenda other than unpacking these 8 lies with you. So I appreciate you being here. If you're on Zoom, put in the chat, why did you show up? If you're on Facebook, same thing, put it in the chat. Why did you choose to be here today? Is there something in particular that's getting the best of you right now? Is there something you're just curious about, or do you just show up to everything we do inside of Pivot Shift Ahead? And if you do, thank you for showing up. My name's James Shaw, and most of us know each other. We hang out pretty much every morning. But if you're new watching us, the recording, or watching on Facebook, and you're not part of what we do on a regular basis, thank you for choosing to be part of this today. I started the Pivot Shift Ahead community back in March of 2020 as we entered the pandemic to help keep us on our mindset right and keep us on track to pursue our goals in a time that was going to be challenging. And I think we've done that. We've built quite a community. And many of you choose to join us every weekday morning for our free mastermind call. If you're not part of that, we'd love to see you. Our Zoom room opens every day at
You could
7:30 a.m. Eastern. Oh, we got to stay
you
on.
could do it.
Well, I know I can. Thank you so much. Our Zoom room opens every day at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. You're welcome to join us. JamesDShaw.com is where you can get your link. Just click join our free daily call. Then we go live stream inside the Facebook group every day at 8 o'clock Eastern, and all the recordings are in the featured section of the group. And as we've met over time, I found out that a lot of us experience some of the same challenges day to day. And so I want to work with you on overcoming some of those challenges right now. There are 8 of them that we've uncovered, and I'm going to share the screen so we can unpack them together. And I hope that'll be all right. Everybody ready to go? Get out your notepad and your paper and your pencil so you can take notes. Now, if you're a member of the Inspire Collective, which is my private mastermind community, we've already taken the notes for you, and we'll email them out to you and upload them in the Inspire member portal. So you don't necessarily have to take notes. But if you aren't a member of the Inspire Collective, which is my private mastermind, take a lot of notes. And again, what we've done is uncovered what I think are 8 lies that tend to hold us back a little bit, and we're going to look at them together. And the first one, I think, is going to be one that surprises many of you, because we talk about how important it is all the time to hang out with people who are focused on opportunity and positive things. But what if one of the lies, and the first lie that we want to look at, what if it is this? Whoops, there it is. I should surround myself with positive people. That's the first lie we're going to unpack today, is I should surround myself with positive people. Now, on the surface, that makes a lot of sense, because who wants to be hanging out with naysayers all the time? Well, we don't want to be around negative people all the time. But if you ever read the Shift book, Gary talks about how when the market changes, there's 3 types of people that show up in a shift. First, you have the unnecessarily pessimistic people. The market's falling, everything stinks, everything's horrible. We don't want to be around them. But then you have the overly optimistic people. Everything's fine. I'm not worried about it. There's no problems. That's just as bad as the overly pessimistic person. What Gary teaches us in Shift is that we should hang out with the resourcefully realistic. What kind of people? Resourcefully realistic. People who realize that the market's different and I may have to show up differently. See, if you're constantly hanging out with people who have similar mindsets, you may be missing out on important considerations, other opportunities, other ways of doing things. I think we can fall trapped to this sometimes inside of our Pivot Shift Ahead and Inspire communities. I call it group think, where we all think that whatever someone else thinks, I should think too. No, the truth is, there are people that think differently than us that can teach us important lessons about how to view the world, or what pitfalls may come, or concerns that other people don't see. In fact, conflict can force you to come up with solutions together. When you have conflict, you're focused on solutions instead of just, oh yeah, that sounds good. There's a book called The 6 Thinking Hats. I would encourage you to read it. We teach about it in the ALC clinic. So if any of you are members of your Associate Leadership Council, especially if you've taken it with me, we've talked about the 6 thinking hats. And the one type of hat it talks about in there, one of them is the black hat. And the black hat is that person who is going to look for issues and challenges that may come up in a situation. Well, that person allows you to spot difficulties or where things might go wrong or the way something may not work and point out potential issues. And that person can help us overcome big time weaknesses. So lie number one, I should always hang out with positive or like-minded people. And the truth is, we want all different types of thinkers around us so we can get better. And I would encourage you, when you're hanging out with people, if you find you're all thinking right, be willing to put on that black hat and go, what's an issue that might come up? All right, so that's number one. Number one is I should hang out with positive people all the time. That's a lie. Lie number two, I think this is going to be really interesting for you. Lie number two, there's a hack for that. That's a lie. There's a hack for that. You know, sometimes we hear that productivity or performance can be described as a hack, and that we actually believe that all we have to do is take this magic pill and implement this one little thing to be able to overcome. But the truth is that's a myth. There are no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts, and making changes to your life is hard work. What we need to do is create structure that allows us to have a transformation. Structure that allows us to have a transformation. See, what we want to do is make sure that we're not just hanging out with people that think the same way we do all the time, and that we're not looking for shortcuts and hacks, that we're looking for strategies that work that we can run for a long period of time, creating structure that can support us. So now I'm curious, when you hear the first two, what comes to mind to you? And the way that this will work is you'll raise your digital hand, and I may or may not call on you. I'll take a couple of people each time. But when you hear these first two of, all right, okay, so maybe I need to hang out with people who think differently than me. That's number one. And number two, I need to realize that I need structure around me, not a hack, but I need structures of people that can support a transformation. I'm curious about what sticks out to you. Raise your digital hand and share. I like for our courses to be interactive. When you hear, look, I need to hang out with people who maybe think differently than me, but I also need structure and support to have a transformation. Bernie, what sticks out to you? Can you come off mute?
I'm trying.
There you go. You're good. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm saying have systems in place. I'm hoping.
Yeah, well, we definitely need systems. And then I think we need people around us that will interrogate those systems. That'll be able to share what might work and what doesn't work. Raquel, what's on your mind?
Hi everybody. What I'm thinking is that I had it all wrong all along, and that this makes perfect sense. Positive people cannot all the time be necessarily healthy, because you have to be, as you said, being resourcefully realistic is just far better. And also, as they say, the journey of 1,000 miles started with the first step. So no journey, no change happens overnight, and none of it is easy. It's hard work. So it's like, wow, this is making me reflect, and made me realize that I have to look at things a little bit different, and maybe achieve better results.
I think you're right. I think the big one about, look, we want to be around happy people and people who see
Yeah.
opportunity, but being over realistically positive, in other words, ignorant to what may or may not happen, is a challenge. We definitely want to hang out with people who are resourcefully realistic. And that requires you to look at situations and ask what might go wrong. And then the next thing you got to do is realize that there is no hack to fix that, that what we've got to find are systems and strategies and structures to move us forward. Amanda, you get the last word on this, and then we're going to go on to the next two.
All right, thanks. Hi. When it comes to structure, I think the most important thing, and something I continue to come back to and need to remember to stay on top of, is my schedule. So always coming back to blocking time for what's most important, big rocks first, putting it on the schedule so it gets done. and it's a regular battle. It's not something that I can just set and forget. I have to continue to come back to it. So it's a good
That's why
reminder.
community matters, Amanda. I like you. You know that. I think you're a really smart person, and you're good at community. I think community matters. Hanging out with people that, again, are resourcefully realistic and yet have structure and are kind of plotting after the same thing you are. Thank you. That was a great share. Let's go into some more. I love this. You guys are fun. I like this group of people. So the third one, I love the third lie. These are lies. These are things that hold you back from reaching your goals. I have to get up early to be successful. In other words, I don't need sleep. I hear real estate agents wear this as a badge of honor sometimes. Yeah, I don't get a lot of sleep. I go to bed late and I get up early. Early bird gets the worm. Have you heard this sort of stuff? That's a bunch of garbage. We often hear stories about how getting up early is necessary to be successful. There's a book called Rich Habits that the author interviewed 177 self-made millionaires over the course of 5 years and found out that 50% of them, half of them, get up 3 hours before their workday begins. And then Wall Street Journal in 2016 says 4 a.m. is the most productive hour because it allows you to tackle tasks before distractions arise. And then there's all sorts of examples that come out about Apple CEO Tim Cook, who gets up at 3:45 in the morning. They talk about the CEO of Pepsi, how early they get up, how early Michelle Obama gets up. All these people, how many times have you heard it about how early people get up? You got to get up early if you want to succeed. You got to get up early. Hey, the truth is that's garbage. It's absolute garbage. It doesn't really matter what time you get up. What matters is, do you know what your purpose is once you do? Once you get up, do you know what you're doing and why you're doing it? There's a founder of a performance coaching firm that says if you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, that's great, but what are you doing? Waking up at 4 a.m. without purpose is just as useless as waking up at noon. Now, there are some CEOs, you'll hear stories of CEOs all the time that talk about how little sleep they get. But truth is, the research shows you need 7+ hours per sleep per night on a regular basis to be healthy. Research published in the Sleep Journal and the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine says sleeping less than 7 hours per night on a regular basis can lead to adverse health outcomes like weight gain, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, and depression. And it decreases performance. Harvard Health says when people don't get enough sleep, their attention and concentration abilities decline. And if you feel like you have to be on around the clock, that leads to a level of impairment that is similar to intoxication. Now, there was a study that came out by Inc. magazine in 2022 that interviewed 1,086 CEOs of US companies and found out 40% of them get up at 6, not at 4, 6 o'clock in the morning. And that we're looking for healthy patterns in our life. Bottom line, you don't have to get up early to be successful. Now, I applaud you if we do. We have people that get up every day on the West Coast. I see Araceli's hand up. She gets up at 4:30 in the morning to be on the pivot call. And that's great, but see, she's getting up with purpose. Araceli, let me ask you about it because you're an early riser, and it's not about getting up early, I don't think, for you. I feel like you have purpose and action set up for your day. Would that be fair to say?
That's correct. And it is a lie, the about getting up early, you're more successful. In my case, it's because I want to be part of this community and I found purpose in getting up early. It has taken me a very long time to actually create this habit. But sometimes I have to tell you, I take a nap after.
Nothing
because
wrong with
it
taking naps.
No, because it is really early. I have to go to bed in order for me to get my 7. I need 7 hours. I know I need 7 hours. I have to go to bed really early. But sometimes my husband wants to like hang out with me, and I can be like, because I'm married, so I still have to have a personal life as well. So there are occasions where I don't get enough sleep. I still get up because now my brain just wakes up automatically. But it's true. And there's been some days that I have not gone to the call and I get up because I needed the sleep and I get up at, I don't know, 6 o'clock, 6:30. And then I just go and I watch the rerun, the recording. And then I go into my day just with my my list of the things that I need to do on the same in the same order. Nothing changed. It's just that I got up a couple hours later. But the only reason is because I want to be live. Sometimes the pre-show, it is, I think, very powerful, very, very powerful. I found it to be more meaningful. I found more I think so the conversations are so empowering that that's the reason I get up at that time. But if this call was at 6:30, I would totally prefer the call was at 6:30 and
I
not
hear you
4:30, to be
100%.
honest.
I love what you're saying. And those of you are like, what's she talking about with the pre-show? What Araceli is talking about is our daily mastermind call that we host at 8 Eastern, which is 5 o'clock for Araceli. We open the Zoom room at 7:30 Eastern, which is 4:30 Pacific, and we kind of have a separate call. We call it the pre-show, where we chat and mastermind together. And that call's not recorded. I do this kind of as a gift to the people who get up at that time. It's not recorded, and we walk through different. Sometimes that one's better than the call we do inside of Facebook. There are times that it's a higher quality call. The thing is, though, you'd never have to feel like you've missed out. Like, we're going to have the conversation again another day. And if you can get up and attend it live, great. And if you can't, no worries. And then I saw people in the chat say, I feel guilty for taking a nap. Look, take a nap. I took one the other day. It was great. A little 20-minute nap. I always wake up. Anybody else wake up really groggy after a nap going, I wish I wouldn't have done that. But then about a half hour later, you always feel a lot better. Look, the way you have a great business is you take care of yourself first. That's why starting next week, we're launching what I'm calling the Summer Surge Challenge. It's for our Inspire Collective members. If you aren't an Inspire Collective member, you're welcome to join us and participate in the challenge. And I'll have some details about it at the end of the call. But that Summer Surge Challenge, we're going to work on you and your business, not just your business. Because when you fall into place, your business will fall into place. But it's really hard to organize a business when your life is messy. Thank you, Araceli, for sharing. And I know there's other hands that want to share too, but we've got a lot to cover. So I'm going to keep going. I want to go on to the next lie. We've covered 3 of the 8 already, and I want to cover a couple of more. So we've done, the first one was, I need to hang out with positive people. That's a lie. You need to hang out with people who have different perspectives. Number 2, there's a hack for that. There is no hack. There are systems and strategies at work you have to implement for a long period of time. Number 3, sleep isn't necessary. I've got to get up early to be productive. No, you wake up with purpose. Okay, we wake up with purpose is what we do. And if we wake up with purpose, then we can get after it. Here's lie number 4. Lie number 4 is I'm an excellent multitasker. Boy, have we heard this one. It's inside of the One Thing book, and we talk about multitasking all the time. In fact, it's not hard to do it. We've been conditioned to do it. It's embraced all over the place. People will proudly call themselves multitaskers. You see job descriptions that say, I'm looking for an excellent multitasker. When we feel like we've multitasked successfully, it actually releases dopamine, which makes us happy and makes us feel good about what we're doing. We feel optimistic about the work we're doing. We feel more effective even when we aren't. We feel more effective even when we aren't. Because here's what the research tells us about multitasking. It's not actually multitasking, it's switch tasking. You have to stop what you're doing to start the next thing, even if it's just for a moment. There have been a ton of data and a ton of research done on this. And here's what it finds. David Meyer did some research, and he and his peers found out that every time someone switch for one task to another, they actually lose time. They don't gain it. And the more complex the task is, the more time they lose. David Meyer says that even a brief mental block created by shifting a task can cost as much as 40% of someone's work time. Some of you are multitasking right now. You're scrolling on your socials, you're eating lunch, you're playing on your phone instead of listening to this. Listen to this data from Michigan State. Michigan State did a study on multitasking. Listen to this. They found that even when you get disrupted for 2.8 seconds, that can double the number of errors in your work. 2.8 seconds. A 4.4 second interruption triples errors when you go back to the task at hand. Now, I know we've got some people on here who are habitual multitaskers. And what I want to hear from now are some of you that have figured out how to overcome that. How do you break through the multitask? And Mark Martin, we'll start with you.
James, I love that you're talking about this. Again, one thing, amazing, amazing book. Unfortunately, I'm having to multitask right now. I'm on the phone. I am driving, but I had to raise my hand about this. I think one of the biggest things that works against this in the real estate business is that we feel like we have to answer that call right away every single time. If we're in our deep work, if we're in our lead gen time, if we're with a client, we need to be okay and not get anxious about not answering the call. Sometimes, if people know that sometimes you're not able to answer the call, just as soon as you are able, write it down and give them a call back.
Yeah, I think that's a great example. We are in the middle of doing something. Let's say, for example, Mark, that you're doing your lead gen for the day. That look, your goal, you want to add leads to the pipeline, you want to schedule listing appointments, you want to look for opportunity, and you see a current client give you a call. Somebody who's under contract or an active listing or something like that. And the easy thing to do is stop what you're doing and go take that call. And the truth is, don't. Because it makes you less productive every time that you do. When you go and take that call, now all of a sudden you've been taken away from the activity at hand, which is building the pipeline and adding more leads to the business, and you've gone and you've taken some sort of issue. It's always an issue that comes to you. So now some sort of issue comes to you, and you go, well, let me go fix this. Who's fallen? Put a yes or no in the chat. Has this ever been you? And you go solve this issue that really probably only takes 10 minutes, but then you never get back to the task at hand. But truth is, if you wait, they call you at 9:30 and you wait until 11 or 12 to respond. One of a couple of things that happen. Number one, the issue has fixed itself. Or number two, the issue is still the same and now you fixed it at a more appropriate time after building the pipeline. But no one's ever lost business over a 2-hour delay. A 2-hour delay in responding. Mark, go ahead. What was your final thought on that?
Oh, I was just going to say, and you switch over to that, like you had said, you end up now, instead of being in the mindset of connecting with people, doing the things that are going to generate leads, now you're in responsive mode, and it is really hard to get back.
Switch tasks from one to another, and it's just not going to be as good. Brenda, good morning. Brenda Ellenberg.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
This is me all the way that you're speaking to.
Well, what's on your mind?
Well, since I've been a realtor for 1.5 years, I decided to, I said, I can't do it all. So I just put one thing, I try to prioritize. I say, okay, I'm going to work on this, and then I'm going to stop. After I finish that, I'm going to go to the next thing. That's still hard because you see all of the things that you need to do. I woke up this morning, I said, okay, Lord, lead and guide me in the right direction, what I need to do first. So I did what I thought I needed to do, and I feel good. So now I'm going on to the next project.
How did you get that way? How did you go from being a chronic multitasker to now just being able to have the patience and the ability to work on one thing at a time?
Because I felt overwhelmed and stressed flat out. And I got nothing done. I did half of this and half of that, and I didn't get anywhere with that. So I just had to make myself, and my husband too, he said, baby, you can only do one thing at a time. So I just really started praying and asking God to lead me to do what I need to do first and going forward. So that's how I do it.
Yeah. What I'm hearing, a lot of you, and I'm seeing it in the chat too, as I'm looking, Patricia just put it in the chat. I like to focus on one thing at a time. My previous career required me to be a multitasker, but I don't like stress. What I'm hearing is multitasking eventually leads to just stress, and we want to get out of that. We want to get out of the frustration. We want to get out of the stress and stay in a space that allows us to be productive and move forward. And the way we do that, quite frankly, it's about becoming obsessed with following a schedule. If you get obsessed with following a schedule, that'll cut back on the times that you might lean into multitasking. So that's a lie. I'm an excellent multitasker. Don't say it. It's like nails on a chalkboard for me. The next one is people say stuff like, I like to work all the time. I just like to get stuff done. I don't need breaks. I don't need breaks. Not true. Oh, this is so exciting. Come on. There we go. I don't need breaks. A lot of times people think they should just power through their work, stay on task. But the truth is, breaks allow you to recharge your energy. Rule of thumb. Here's a good rule. Write it down if you're curious about it. A good rule about breaks. Take 5 to 10 minute break after every 45 to 60 minutes of work, and longer breaks, say 20 to 30 minutes, after 2 to 3 hours of work. Now, I like to, if I'm thinking lead gen, I like to do the 45-15. 45 minutes all in, 15 minutes off. Go do something else. So think about that. Are you building breaks into the day? According to Harvard Business Review, excessive focus drains your energy and makes you lose control. It can make you more impulsive and less helpful, and therefore you make poor decisions throughout the day and become less collaborative. That sounds like the thing they read at the end of a pharmaceutical commercial. Will lead to death. Side effects. The side effects of working too long is it drains your energy, you lose self-control, you're more impulsive and less helpful. Well, nobody wants to be that. So the truth is, what you want to do, 45 to 60 minutes means a 5 to 10 minute break. 2 to 3 hours means a 20 to 30 minute break. And this got you excited. Your hands are up, Cheryl.
Me, Cheryl?
Yes, you, Cheryl.
Hi. Oh God, this is just so me. Between the last one with the multitasking, because in my old world, it was all about multitasking and I thought I was the best at it. Well, you end up becoming the jack of all trades and good at nothing. And so I have a schedule, I have it down, and I've got to learn to be better about, to your point, taking breaks, but being all in and not feeling like I have to answer anytime someone calls. And, one of the greatest agents that's in my office, I went to her because she intimidated the crumb cake out of me and said, would you work with me? And she, I ask her questions all the time. And one of the things she said that still resonates with me is there are no real estate emergencies. No one's going to die. And I've always been that sense of urgency. And I'm having to take a step back and really realize, what do I have to do right now? And just stick with it, and then get back to it, like you said, in the 15 minutes when I have a break. But I'm still a recovering, multitasker and not breaker. But
well, we all
thank
are.
You, James, for letting me share.
You got it, Cheryl. Thanks for sharing. We all are. And it's okay. The part of the thing about this is to remember that we all fall trapped to these. Every single one of these that I'm going to mention, I think we all fall into from time to time. The question is, for how long? Now, one thing we've been talking about a lot inside of Pivot, and definitely in the challenge that we start next week that most of you will be a part of, is being on purpose with purpose. Because we can accomplish a lot in a short period of time if we do it on purpose and with purpose. We know why we're doing what we're doing. We know the specific steps that we need to be taking. And if we can do that, we can actually be very efficient and get a lot done. Cheryl, thank you. Stacy, you're next.
Hey, I was thinking about, I think as a society, we tend to want to rest from our work, right? That's kind of the way we work for the weekend. And we really need to flip that. I read this in a book of, we're wired to work from rest, right? That's why the week generally in most calendars starts on a Sunday, which is a day of rest. You come from the place of rest and you propel forward. That's why oftentimes after a vacation, we do our best work. And so I think if we start thinking about working from a place of rest rather than working to get to the rest, it changes the mindset of the whole thing.
100% it does, which is why one thing we'll talk about in our Summer Surge Challenge is we're going to build in time off. And we'll talk about building in the time off before we start talking about the work. Like when we meet on Monday and set up the Summer Surge Challenge for everybody, you will schedule your time off pieces before you do anything else. And then you're working around that. You're more refreshed. You're better off. And then when you're at work, you're on purpose with purpose. Here's what I'm doing and why I'm doing it to get the best result. And then we take a step back and get things done. Now, I also recognize that in a market like this, we're working more to get the same. That's true. How many of you feel like that? That you're putting in more effort right now to get the same, which means you must be more purposeful about taking a step back. And someone put it in the chat, I think Masha put it in the chat, she has to set a timer or she'll work through the break. Masha, that's exactly what I do. I literally will set, like if I'm going to be in an intense time of work, when I'm preparing for something, like we're in right now, preparing for the challenge and writing it, I will set a 45-minute timer and the timer goes off and boom, I don't care where I am in the work, I step away and step back. I step away, and usually my go-to is I go watch Bon Kui Kui. I go on YouTube and watch Bon Kui Kui. That's my favorite video. But then, and here's what happens. This is so fascinating, Masha. When I come back, not only do I pick up right where I left off, I actually have better ideas usually. Like my brain has had a chance to refresh for a second. So that's that one. All right, I see more hands, but we got to keep going or we'll be here all day. I'm sorry, Janine and Jack and Dean and Chris, but you'll all have a chance to share in a little bit. So that was number 5, the number 5 lie. I got to work all the time. I don't need breaks, but now we've determined together that that's a lie. It's not true. And some of you have a lie that says I don't need to be on mute, but I fixed that one. All right, next lie. If I'm not organized, I can't be productive. That's a lie. People say all the time, I need to get more organized. Maybe not. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't need to get more organized. There's a lot written about habits and tendencies of productive people. Productive people. And organization tends to be one of those things that come up over and over again, that you have to be organized. But being organized does not automatically equate to being productive. It's important to have a system, but you don't want to get so lost in creating the system that you lose valuable time in doing it. If being organized is only an excuse to put off doing a task, it is detrimental to your productivity. What it's really about is what we like to call attention management. That's the art of focusing on getting things done for the right reasons, in the right places, in the right moments. Attention management, the art of focusing on getting things done for the right reasons, in the right places, in the right moments. Now, everyone on this call falls into one of two spaces. You're either study first or action first. Put in the chat, which are you? Are you a study first person or an action first person? And both of them have strengths and both of them have weaknesses. Study first people want to get ideas together, map things out, get a practice together, write out their script, think about the potential objections, lay things out. And that's great. We want to be prepared. But it often will delay action. You'll spend so much time in study that you take very little action. Action first people don't want to study. They don't want to think about all the things. They just want to get to work. The challenge with action first people, while it produces results, is it leads to more mistakes. So how do we balance it out? What do we do? If we're a study first person, how do we make sure that we can feel prepared and ready to go, but yet take action? It's easy. Put a limit on the amount of time you'll study before you take action. Set a timer. It's 15 minutes of prep, and then I'm going to pick up the phone. It's 20 minutes of focus on this, and then I'm going to knock on the door. It's set a limit. How much preparation am I going to do before I take action? Action first, people. Commit to a period of study before you take action. All right, I know I'm antsy. I want to get after it, but hold on. For 5 minutes, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to map out potential outcomes so that I'm prepared for whatever is ahead. So if you're a study first, put a limit on the time of study. If you're an action first, make a commitment to a time of study before you take action. Josephine, your thoughts?
So recently in the last 6 months, my parents had some health issues and they come to Myrtle Beach all the time and they can't come alone anymore. So you brought to my attention on one of the calls, I was complaining about being so unorganized, and my MAPS coach brought to my attention that if I just focused and was more purposeful with my activities. So for the past couple of months, I've been more purposeful of how many deals I'm going to get on the board, what my lead generation is going to look like. And both months, last month and this month, I was able to take 6 days away and come away with my parents without hurting my business. I had 4 pieces of business the first month, and this month I have 3 pieces of business on the board. Probably more than if I would have stayed home and just kept working and working and working and thinking I had to be organized.
Yeah, it's
so
on purpose with purpose. Just sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. It's on purpose with purpose, which is what we've been saying over and over again. And I see people do this where they start to get freaked out and they've got a vacation coming up or whatever, and they cancel it. Or they send the family without them and say, I'm going to join you in 2 days. And that breaks my heart. Like this time you have with your parents right now is so special and so important, and you still have to get your work done. So by choosing where you're going to put your focus, your results go up and you get time away. But I think sometimes we as real estate agents we pride ourselves and wear a badge to talk about how much we work and how little time we spend with our family. And that doesn't sound fun to me. Your family won't remember how many homes that you sold, but they will remember how much you ignored them on vacation. Let's spend time with them. Thank you, Josephine. Great share. Jack Smith.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir, and thank you for this challenge. And I have to say, one of the things I blame you for is that when we took Bold with you a couple of times, you created such passion in us, we just don't know what to do other than work. We're finding, as you just said, with this 45 minutes with work, I'm going to do my best to do this. And I guess I have to set a timer. Masha's this brilliant woman. I'll give it a shot. But I think the most important thing is I have to find things that give me joy, quite frankly, because I'm doing work all the time. We're going to vacation next week before we go to see Phil Jones. And my brother asked me, can you turn your phone off for 3 days? It would be the best birthday present ever. I thought, okay, let's give it a shot. Nobody dies. You got a team. You can do it. But, when people tell you, when Philip told me last November, we don't spend time with each other, it stabbed my heart. And now we spend time together. But this 15 minutes and 45, those little chunks I think I can achieve. So here's another level of achievement you're pushing me into. So thank you.
Well, we're trying, Jack, and I appreciate it. And again, that's why when you take the challenge that we're starting next week, the focus is personal well-being first, key relationships second, and business third. That's how we're going to lay it out. And your personal well-being is made up of 3 pieces: your spiritual life, your physical health, and your mental health. And then key relationships obviously mean multiple things, and then business. And we've got it backwards. Now, I get that we get it backwards because the market is tougher now and we're working to support our well-being and our key relationships, but we cannot put the business in front of the other. And there's a way that you can have all 3. And if you're struggling with this, if you're struggling with your personal well-being and your key relationships, along with having a successful, profitable business, you need to be part of the challenge that we're starting on Monday. Summer Surge Challenge starts Monday for our Inspire community. All right. We're going to take one more, Dawn Tinder, and then I got to get to the last 2 lies. Go ahead, Dawn.
Hi, James. So, gosh, this is really speaking to me today. I am definitely a study first person, and I get stuck there. So, I read a quote from Mother Teresa, and she said, you don't need clarity, you need trust. We need to trust the process. We have all the processes in place, and we need to trust it and just do it. We can't wait for clarity before we move forward. And that's what I need to definitely start doing. Thanks.
Well, and what do we teach every day, Dawn? And the stuff that we work on in Pivot, and you're an Inspire member, the stuff we teach in Inspire, we teach process all the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm a believer in consistency over intensity. I'm a believer in finding a process. As I like to say, learn the plays and then run the plays. I want us to do that stuff. And if we do it and trust that it works, which, by the way, if you're learning a process inside of the Inspire Collective, we've already vetted it for you, because we don't teach theory inside of the Inspire Collective. I don't go interview agents who go, yeah, I have an idea. I think this might work. I interview agents who have a track record of proving that it works so that you can download the playbook and go run the play. We don't have time for theory, Dawn, not when the market is the way it is and we want to accomplish big goals. That was a great share. Dawn, I like you. I'm on my way to you here shortly. We're heading to Orlando a little bit later today. All right, let's go do our next one. That was, if I'm not organized, I can't be productive. The next one is, well, if I'm under time pressure, I'm more efficient. I am more efficient under pressure. When I worked on this with Vicki, and thank you to Vicki Lukacic for helping put all this together. She's an absolute genius person, and I'm blessed to work with her every single day. This is my most common lie. What this really is about is procrastination. But some people believe that they work better under pressure. Therefore, what they do, they create pressure via procrastinating. We want to make sure we don't do that, because while procrastination may decrease the workload in the day, it increases the workload later. And studies have found that we, look at short-term performance and think it's better for you, but when we even if raising the stakes causes us to do better at something today, we accumulate stress over time that will eventually backfire. Now, here's the deal. Procrastination actually can decrease your productivity, not make you better. And listen to this. Don't beat yourself up over it. Who is a procrastinator like me? Who's somebody that says, I work better under pressure, I'm more efficient under pressure? This is me. I will delay and delay and delay, and I'll put it that I need time to think and process. Listen, don't beat yourself up over it. Procrastination is not a character flaw. There's nothing wrong with you. It's common. It is a way to cope with challenging emotions and negative moods that are induced by certain tasks like boredom, anxiety, insecurity, frustration, resentment, self-doubt, and more. And yet, if we just make the decision to take action, we will perform better. This class is a great example. This was something Vicki and I have been working on for quite some time, and so we've been able to evolve it and work on it over time. So I'm curious your thoughts about this one. I'm more efficient under pressure. What stands out to you? Who wants to share on this one about being more efficient under pressure? Karen, you're up early in Hawaii, so you go first.
When I was in college, I always crammed for my what do you call it when you have to take
your finals? Yeah.
My finals. So I always thought, oh yeah, I'm really good at not procrastinating, but doing things all at one time. But what I came to realize is that it was all the study over time during that entire class. I'd taken all the notes, I'd read all the books, I'd done everything. So it actually is the system that leads you to that. Then there's usually a certain time that you may have to cram for a while to get something accomplished, but you can't live your life like that or you're going to drive yourself crazy. And if you put it off, it never works. So balance, even though we can never be completely balanced, we have to be reasonable, get rest, go to sleep, do all our physical things that we have to do. Spiritual has to come first. Family has to fit in there very well too. But we can't expect to procrastinate and get things done efficiently. We have to follow the systems.
No doubt about it. That's a great share. Dean, thanks for your patience. I missed you this morning. I want to get you in on this one.
I appreciate that, James. Thanks so much for the opportunity. These habits, I know for me and probably for many of us, go way, way back. When I was in college, I used to do the old overnighter, all-nighter on papers. And I'd get it done, and then I'd get done with it at 6 o'clock the following morning. And I figured, I really accomplished something. I'd run over to the TA's office or the professor's office and hand it in. And I still got the B or the B plus, occasionally the A. But I figured I really am doing something. The issue is two things, in my view. It's fear. You fear what's on you. Remember how many times in school we had a syllabus? We didn't begin the term paper until 2 days before. And that's common, and it's longstanding. And B, it's also the fact that other things get in the way, and you don't know how to balance them. And yes, procrastination is what happens. So, what I do is I basically check my schedule the night before, and it's been real powerful for me. So I know exactly what I'm doing the next day. And then again, first thing in the morning, every single morning, part of my ritual. And if you do that, there's less stress. What am I going to do? What am I going to wear? Where am I going to go? So it's just a matter of proper planning. Thanks for letting me share that, James.
Thank you, Dean, for sharing. I appreciate it. And sorry to everybody I'm not getting to. We've got a lot to cover in a limited amount of time to do it, but I love that you want to share. And if I don't call on you, please share your thoughts in the chat. Inspire members, we will upload the chat along with the notes from today inside of the Inspire member portal. They'll be in there this afternoon. We'll email them to you as well. Everybody else who's watching, if you're not an Inspire member, we will send you a copy of this recording as well, and the recordings inside of Pivot Shift Ahead. So let's cover the last one. The last lie is, I can't get motivated. I just can't get motivated. And people say this stuff all the time, I can't get motivated. And that's because we tend to think that motivation is a reason. I need a reason to do something. But the truth is, motivation is a result. We feel better after doing something, not before doing something. It's important also to remember that we can't get to everything. And so what do? Well, we should focus on our priorities and deliberately schedule time to work on them. And one rule of thumb to think about is if you are like 70% sure you want to do something, then start small and you'll gain momentum and prevent procrastination. Brad Stallberg, who's become a friend of our community, writes in Master of Change, progress is just about any endeavor. It's not about hard work. It's about purpose behind it. It's about knowing what the purpose is for you to get stuff done and then just making the decision to get up and go. But it's an important thing to remember. You can't get motivated because it's impossible to get motivated. Motivation is a result, not a reason. Byron?
I love this. This is like one of the biggest things I took away from Brad just because of that. So every time I don't feel motivated, which is a lot of the times, it's hard to get motivated to go door knocking, to get rejected, doors slammed in your face. But once you get into the action and you start doing it and then you start having success, that's where the motivation comes from. So it's so true. And it's like one of my favorite things that we've learned from Brad.
Thank you. Yeah, we've done a lot with Brad Stallberg. You can find it at jamesdshaw.com. Inspire members, he's done multiple hour-long sessions with us that are available for you in the Inspire member portal. It's really good stuff. Thank you, Byron. Rhett, you're next, buddy.
Hey, thanks, James. I just wrote a quick note on that and listening to Byron, and I agree with him. I put that it's hard to be motivated without a plan. A plan brings vision, clarity, and calming that will allow for motivation to actually take place. Motivation, in my opinion, is to know what you need to do and when you need to do it. And once you know, then you can act.
I agree with you. That's great. It comes down to purpose. It comes down to knowing why we're showing up in the first place. And you've heard the saying, when the why is big enough, the how shows up. When that why is important to you, you'll get to work. Brett, thank you. Great share. Janine, last word on this one.
Hi, everybody. I think there's a difference between not getting motivated and being tired. Sometimes you are tired, and therefore you're not motivated to continue. So by the just coming every morning and staying on track and being motivated by staying with Pivot Shift it's a way of being motivated. But again, when you're motivated and you're working hard and it's all together, right? The break. You need a break. You need a break to stay motivated. You need to not confuse motivation and being tired. And also the guilt, because I didn't do this, and therefore I'm not going to do it because I'm not motivated. I mean, we need to stop just saying negative things to ourselves and continue, because there are times that we are in good spirits and there are times that we're not. So I think we're all motivated by just being here.
Well, and that's why we talked about the importance of rest. It's not about getting up early. It's about getting up with purpose. It's about knowing why we want to do this stuff in the first place. But we buy into these things. I hear I'm not motivated a lot, or people will post in the Facebook group, how do I get motivated? You don't. You get motivated by taking action. How do I get motivated to take action? You don't. It's a decision. You make a decision to take action, and then you get motivated. And when you need to rest, you rest. But you cannot go all the time. That's all. Janine basically gave you all 8 lies in one piece and how they're all tied together. Folks, first of all, you're in the right place. You're in the right place to get through the lies because we're working on these things together. These are lies that we all buy into from time to time, but we have to make the decision to not buy into them. I've got the notes for our Inspire Collective members. They'll be in the portal a little bit later this afternoon. If you're not an Inspire Collective member, we would love for you to join us. And one reason why you may choose to join us is to be part of our Summer Surge Challenge that starts on Monday. This is a summer-long challenge. We start June 3rd and we run through the week before Mega Camp. Now, next week, we're going to meet 4 days to set up the challenge for you. And then the rest of the challenge, we'll meet every Monday. We'll meet every Monday to go through and give you ideas. We're focused on 3 key pieces: your personal well-being, your key relationships, and then your business, in that order. And if you think that this is something you want to be a part of, then come join us. And I'm going to drop the link in the chats for you if you're interested in joining the Inspire Collective. It's a private mastermind. It's a $99 a month investment for you that, of course, you can cancel at any time. We meet every Tuesday at noon Eastern to mastermind and strategize and share business strategies and plans with you. And then in addition, we're doing this challenge all summer long. So we'd love for you to participate in it with us. Every call is recorded. You have access to all the material. Another thing people say sometimes is they go and look, hey, I need to add a strategy to my business. So next Wednesday, I want you to know that Emily Peckham, who's become a friend of our community, is back doing a free session on her FSBO Fortune course. Now, Emily listed 160 for sale by owners in 4 years. She is an expert on this stuff. And if you're looking to add a strategy, but yet you're like, I don't feel motivated, I'm not sure what to do, what would I say, how would that work? Join her free FSBO Fortune session that's a week from today. At 1 o'clock Eastern time. I'm dropping the Zoom link in the chat right now. Now, she did this for us back in the spring, and she's done some updates based on your feedback. She's also added in objection handling that may come up as part of the NAR settlement. Maybe you meet with a for sale by owner that says, okay, I want to list with you, but I don't want to pay a buyer agent. How do you handle that? So while it will look very similar to those of you who took it last time, there are some updates that she's done along the way. So that free session, again, is a week from today at 1 o'clock Eastern. And I've dropped the link for that in the chat for anybody who's interested and would like to take it. And then, of course, our Summer Surge Challenge as part of the Inspire Collective starts on Monday. I'm curious about, first of all, is this of value to you, and what ahas or takeaways did you have? I have time for a couple. But nothing fancy today, but just something that was on my heart as I was thinking about you. These were things that I heard coming up in the chat and on the call and in the Facebook group that I just wanted to address. Amiko, what's your takeaway?
Hey, everybody. I just put in the chat that initially I was really feeling overwhelmed by the thought of the addition to the summer surge, the parts about, personal well-being and relationships. But this call and hearing, everyone share and reading the comments is really bringing it home for me that I can enjoy success in my business when I have more success in my personal life and in my relationships. So I'm excited about incorporating all of that into my summer plans.
Well, I'm excited you're going to do it too. Barb Whitney.
Hello, I think it's still morning. Yes. Thank you, James. I've been telling myself most of these lies. But one thing that through this and just thinking about stuff, something I wrote down here says, take the time before you don't have any time to take. So stop doing the things that, you shouldn't be doing. Stop procrastinating, be on purpose with a purpose. And just, take the time to do. Time will be gone one day.
Well, and let's know what's important and be where we're supposed to be. Z, you get the last word.
Thank you so much. And about the 7 hour sleep, I'm the one, I get up at 4:30 to do my miracle morning and get my mental together. But I'll go to sleep like 10, 11 o'clock, and that's not healthy. And just putting all of that, and it's so much. And the break, because even yesterday we was doing the call Inspire. And I had this because I get tense because I don't take care of myself. And so today I booked my spa, my massage. So just thank you for just the clarification. I was saying, thinking that, we have to continue going and going and going and not taking the break. And Bob, like how you say, like people are falling like flies. So taking the time and just appreciate the moments and everything that we have is going to be a game changer.
It totally is. And I'm proud of you for recognizing that. It's fine to get up early. You get up early because you've got a routine you go through and you're doing stuff. But that just means you're going to have to go to bed earlier. Like you're just going to have to go to bed earlier to get the sleep you need. And then we do want to step away and take a break. In fact, that's what we're doing today. It's last day of school here. Naomi is done with the day at 12:40. They'll be home around 1 o'clock. And then we're getting in the car and we're driving 90 minutes to Disney World, and we're spending the rest of the week and the weekend at Fort Wilderness in one of the cabins. Now, we're going to go and relax and have fun. I'm going to work too. We've got a challenge we're doing on Monday, starting Monday, that we've got to continue to work on. And so I'll be working too, but I've figured out how to make all that work within the day, because I'll get up early and work on it while they're doing some of this, and then we'll get after it and have fun as a family. But I'm not going to be glued to my phone worried about all of you. I'm going to worry about you in the morning and focus on preparing for our challenge in the morning, and then step away and enjoy time with my family. And I encourage you to do the same. Thank you for choosing to be part of this. Thanks for being on the call. Thanks for learning from us. I'll see you tomorrow morning and Pivot Shift Ahead. Inspire members' notes will be uploaded a little bit later today in the portal. If I can help anybody with anything, reach out. Thanks for being here. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.